Hi, good afternoon. I'm greeting you all the way from beautiful Slovakia, where we have autumn in full on. Yeah, the leaves are falling down and it's very cold and it's sunny and beautiful. So, hello to all of you who are experiencing autumn in the most glorious way possible. Today, I'm greeting you also to share something that is, again, very close to my heart. And today, I'm going to be talking about the gift of being good enough mother. I'm very, very glad that I can share about this subject, and I'm saying hello to all the ladies who are moms to be, or who are wishing to be moms, or who got their own moms, or even to males who like just popped onto this link to see what is going on. I'm greeting you all, whether you are watching this live or from the replay. My name is Lucia Hoxa. I'm a life coach and I'm coaching women all over the world to, I always say, to live the life they love. But really, what I want is life is challenging and there are challenges all the way. What I would love to do is to support you guys in whatever challenges are happening in your life, not only resolving them and getting through them, like in terms of surviving, but really turning those challenges into an absolute gold in such a way that it moves you forward in life in a way that you are able to discover your own strength and see yourself the way you maybe never seen yourself before, and through that also give you discover your purpose in life and truly fulfill your dreams and live the life you truly love and adore in such a way that you love to wake up in the morning, because next day and every day is a real adventure. That's how I live my life, which is not perfect, it's still full of challenges, but God, I love it. I really love it. And even looking back to I don't know, like 15, 10 years ago, my life was so very different. I can't even tell you. And what I have now is, and what I continue creating, which is even more exciting, is something very, very precious. And it wouldn't happen if I wouldn't have my life challenges. So that's why I'm saying turning them into the gold and into something that is really going to bring you the life you truly love. That's the key, and that's what I would like to take you through this process, or at least have a conversation about how is it possible for you, because trust me, I'm no special, guys. I just had the guts and courage, and I'm a little bit crazy in a good way, hopefully. So anyway, today we are talking about concept of being good enough mother. And I just love this. And it is not new term. This concept actually came along. I'm just going to quote it so I say it right, by Donald Winnicott in 1953, believe it or not. And this wise man, who was actually a British pediatrician and psychoanalyst, he observed thousands of babies and mothers, and their development. And he came to realize that babies and children, they actually don't thrive in environment where mother is complete servant and she attends to their needs as soon as they you know need something, cry, or like he actually observed that is very, very healthy for a development of the child to have that balanced way in the way mother attends to child's needs. Of course, the basic needs. I'm not talking about that as like food and sleep and nurturing and clothes and keeping the baby warm. I'm talking about, those additional needs of the child, like bring me the spoon now, give me a dummy now, that kind of thing that a lot of mums are obliged to kind of fulfill, especially when they have first baby and the only baby, and then it becomes increasingly difficult with a second or third child later on, and they are finding their way, and the way to sustain the motherhood and still staying sane. Does that make sense, guys? The concept of good enough mom is not a new concept, but I would like to expand it, because this scientist and very wise man, he's talking about development of the child. But I also would like to today talk and hopefully exchange some views as well from your point of view, from the perspective of a mother, because it is very, very big subject, and I have a feeling that the way the society is talking about it is not really serving us moms, in terms of putting extra pressures on us in terms of being a perfect mom. But I would like to start this broadcasting just to tickle you a little bit and consider that being a perfect mom is not only there is no such a thing, but being a perfect mom is actually not serving you as a woman, neither your children. And I will talk a little bit more about why I think that is. I chose this subject because it's not that I'm expert in motherhood. I've been mom only for 2 years. We've just been 2 years now. For those who don't know me, I've got 2 little daughters. They are twins. And so, I'm not talking about this as an expert. I'm talking about it as my observation, a little bit of research, and of course my profession in terms of, in terms of coaching, and in terms of all those things that I do in psychology and so on. And of course my own experiences, and I will share a little bit more about that. And also, it's yet another subject that you guys chose, because a lot of you are sending me personal messages saying, hey Lucia, you've got such amazing daughters, they look so clever and they are so well behaved, and how do you do it? Like, people say that we go dancing on regular basis, and my children really, I'm surprised myself, to be honest. Like, they're amazingly loving and friendly and courageous and brave, and I'm just amazingly lucky. But I think it's also to do with how I interact with them, and I will share a little bit about that, what I believe or what proves to be working as well, because a lot of you are asking me, like, how do you do it, and you've got 2 of them, and how come you are happy as well? You're, and trust me, we still have some challenges, because I think it's been about 2.5 years I didn't get proper sleep like all night. But I want to share about this subject because concept of being good enough mother gave me a lot of freedom, and gave me also new perspective on how to view me as not only as a mother, but also as a woman, and also new perspective how to view on what's best for my kids. So I will talk a little bit more about that. But for those who are watching us at the moment, what for you ladies, if you want to share, means being a good enough mother? Because in general, this term can be misinterpreted in so many ways. That's what I find. Because first time, I must admit, when I heard this concept, or not even concept, when I heard good enough mother, first thing that came to me, that sprang to my mind, is almost like apology for not being perfect. Those things that you feel guilty about, that you have done or haven't done, like those times when you couldn't do anything else but burst into tears in front of your child, or lost the plot because you shouted at them and you really didn't want to, but you did it because it was just too much. Those moments, that's what first came to my mind, like, maybe that's good enough, like, because it's definitely not perfect. So it's like sometimes this concept is misunderstood as almost like apology for not being perfect, because perfection is what magazines say. Perfection is, having for someone is having a 3-course meal options for your family. For someone, it is, giving your children a food that's got absolutely no ease in it and is completely organic and, is the eggs from your own garden that you, I don't know, you where you look after chickens with absolute love and in pristine condition. I don't know, but and it also springs the question like, what is perfection? For some is my child is alive, is healthy, is fed, it's enough. But for most of us, it's actually much, much more. And let's face it, mums, we do naturally want to do our best. But the truth is, being surrounded by and living in society where expectations from mothers are horrendously huge, yeah, and we are driven, being very naturally and rightly the best moms possible. Sometimes we confuse the best with perfect, which is actually unachievable. So how it all starts, let's go a little bit back into also my experience, and please let me know if you share anything similar. Well, naturally when the baby is born, you know that feeling, especially with the first baby, you don't know what's going on. Like, you don't know where you're coming, where you're going. You just gave a birth, you are still like really sore. Like in my case, I could barely breathe because after my twin birth, my baby's been pushing all my internal organs somewhere like here. So, I had a couple of days problems with breathing as my organs been coming back to place. It was horrendous. Of course, you are over the moon that you've got the baby, in my case, 2 babies. But at the same time, you're all over the place. And first 6 weeks of being a mom are like, you have no idea what you're doing. And you are, of course, learning as you go along. But one thing that happens to all of us, and I dare to say majority of moms, is that naturally, because our babies are so small, we pay every single attention to them, making sure they're well, making sure they sleep, making sure they're warm, making sure they're fed, preferably breastfed, and so on and so on. So what happens in those first few months of motherhood, very naturally, we do forget about ourselves almost completely. I remember I didn't wash my hair for maybe even 2 weeks. Sorry, moms, but I'm sure that I'm not the only one. And I forgot to eat because there was always something to be done, something to be arranged. The baby to pick up, the baby to fed. You're dealing with breastfeed. Anyway, so very naturally you put your baby's needs first, and you are trying to be great mom. So every time they go something like, meh, you're there. You're just there. You just come and you just make sure they're breathing, make sure they're comfortable, puff the pillows, whatever needs to be done. So that's the beginning, and it's very natural, and even nature has been designed that way, that the oxytocin that we produce, even more so like during the birth, and the level of care and the love that we feel is so overwhelming that this all is happening very naturally. However, as the babies grow up and they are getting stronger and they start walking, they get in a stage of 1-2 years old, especially when we don't have just one child, we very soon realize that we are getting more exhausted, we are getting more kind of frustrated, not just from tiredness, but from simply not having enough time for ourselves. And, the months and months of neglecting our own needs, and I'm not just talking about basic needs like eating in peace or, having a full night's sleep or going to the cinema with your husband or, coffee with the friends, or actually, reading the book that you really want to read, or, studying or anything like that, fulfilling your own kind of desires. Suddenly you realize that all these things been it's been too long that it has been pushed on a side, and suddenly you start feeling the need and frustration often that it's not possible to fulfill on these needs because, hey, you're a mom now. And the old-fashioned view, and many times what our mothers say to us, definitely my mom, my lovely mom said to me, well, what did you think? You know, motherhood is a sacrifice. It's full of sacrifices. Mommy, I agree, but it doesn't mean that we need to completely lose ourselves. In fact, it's very not healthy even for our babies, because remember, even our babies being small, they are watching you. It's like Big Brother but on steroids. Our children completely watch us, and they repeat not only the way we do things but how we are. So the concept of good enough mother in my world and in my view also, and I love it because of that as well, is giving moms permission to, to fulfill and or start being in conversation how they can make it happen, so they start fulfilling their own needs in terms of, slowly, gradually, as kids are getting bigger, whether it is, hiring a nanny or placing a baby or a small child or child, I don't know, you need to do what feels right for you, for a couple of hours to socialize in kindergarten, or whether it's concept of, actually trusting your partner to be with your baby and do imperfect job for a couple of hours while you go for a coffee with your friend. Those are small little steps that we do as a mums once our babies grow out from the very tiny mini baby stage, where it is very, very healthy for a mother to start, kind of nurturing herself this way. And it's also very, very good for a child, because already in age of 1, they are observing you as a woman, not just you as a mom. And they are picking up on the way you care for yourself, on the way you everything, you brush your teeth, you do your makeup. I know my 2 little girls already standing in the doors of my bathroom, and they just kind of watch in awe, and they are, it's all being written at the back of their brain, like subconsciously, like in a way, it's almost like, this is what it means to be a woman for me. They are thinking in their little brain. This is, because mother is the actual, prototype of the woman. Like, she's a goddess. She's all they have as an example. And so we better be, looking after ourselves and being, they say it everywhere, like good examples. And whether it takes for us to be imperfect mothers to be good examples, and I give you example for that. For a long time, I was guilty myself, attending to my baby's needs straight away. Because that, in fact, I had it actually exaggerated, because in my childhood, I didn't feel my mom. Katka is writing to me. Thank you, Kachi. Agree, Lucka, they are watching everything. Yes. I think I give you some personal share here, that in my own childhood, I was missing my mom. She wasn't the kind of mom that I am now. She was the best mom possible, and I absolutely love and adore her, and I would never change her. Like, I love her to bits. But the truth is, as a child, I was missing her. She left to go to work when I was 6 months old, and I was with grandmother. And then when she came from work, she never had, I actually don't remember my mom playing with me or cuddling me. I'm sure she did, but I don't have those vivid memories when I had like that one-to-one that I often have with my children, like every day, not all day, but a lot of times every day. And I was missing my mom. So I think because of that, I was like, really, the truth is, try to compensate for it a lot with my own children. And at the beginning of motherhood, and I'm still working on it, don't take me wrong, I almost like subconsciously said to myself, like, I will be completely different to my mom, so I will always be there for them. So that meant that as soon as Hayal, started going, like, I want to be picked up, I picked her up. And of course, my back started going, and I couldn't finish, like, nothing that I started around the household, or, it was like mess, like I was trying to juggle work, household, kids, sleepless nights. It was impossible. So, how it started for me is that, of course, like, I'm still attending to needs of my children, and one of the most important things that I do is being very, very present with them, whether it's that I'm playing with them or giving them a cuddle. But what I started implementing is that I said to myself, whatever they ask for, what I do, I finish the task that I'm doing right now. So if it was sending an email, or I actually don't work when kids are around, but finishing washing this couple of dishes, spoons, whatever, or whether it was like sending a text to my husband, like, I stopped, like, leaving the task from the middle of it. Of course, not when it takes half hour, but those little tasks that take just a couple of minutes or so. And I started also communicating to my children, saying, Hayel, you have to wait. Mommy is going to wash these 2 spoons, and then she's going to be with you in a little moment. And I started communicating it to her, in her levels, meaning we are equal, and the communication is being in a present moment while I was communicating it. And it took a while, and still sometimes, of course, children just want you here and now, and they don't give up. And mums, that our children are the most challenging and misbehaved when we are around, but that's because they feel comfort and they feel at ease with us, and they know we will love them unconditionally, no matter how crazily they throw themselves on the floor, in case you've got a 2-year-old. But so what I'm saying, I started like putting the step-by-step challenges for me challenges, because for me it was a challenge not to pick her up straight away, but I knew it's very, very important for both of us, for me to be able to stay sane and complete something and have a good feeling about it, but equally for my daughters, because as a children, and this is why this concept is so great, is as a children they need to learn. This is going to sound harsh, but they need to learn that life and the world is not evolving around them entirely. We need to prepare our children for not perfect world. And let's face it, this world is dynamic, interesting, colorful, and it's wonderful, but it's not perfect. And they are going to come across, angry people who are going to not fulfill their needs, and even worse, right? Like, so, and slowly, even this way, in a very safe home environment, we need to prepare them for little letdowns, in a sense that we will still communicating it. And so that's very much connected with us making mistakes as a mothers and as a women. So every time, girls, and this is also concept of, I'm adding it in, of not being a perfect mom, is that if you do make a mistake, please don't feel guilty, and don't feel that you some kind of way, screwed up, like something subconsciously. Like, I have a tendency to analyze everything because of the work that I do, and I know how much damage can be done in early childhood, especially around 3 years old. That's when it starts, so I'm very conscious of it. But I am starting to relax into it, because all those experiences that our children are getting, like the negative ones, experience like recently we went to first time to dentist visit, and one of my twins, Aliana, she really didn't have a good time there. And then in my head I started going, oh my god, it was too early, why did you book appointment, you should have not done it, we had a private clinic, so we paid money for it, and they didn't even see her teeth. It was complete waste of time, and she's traumatized now. Oh my god, what a terrible mom. Now she's going to go to the dentist with fear for the rest of her life. Not at all. And I was like, Lucia, drop it. Like, is your creation is not like that at all. Like, you have no idea like whether she will remember it or not. And hey, you done your best, you meant well. And this experience doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean, and actually it's good that, it meant to be, and it's good that, she went there and she had a little cry and she had a little hard time, and, because the truth is, our children need to be exposed to the situations where they feel uncomfortable, where they hurt themselves, that, even like to the point of, God forbid something really bad, but point where they see like the blood coming from their little hand, and they also see that the pain goes away eventually, and then when we put something on, the blood stops, and that is not the end of the world. Slowly already in this small age, is very, very important to give them these experiences, but also give them experience of you not being a perfect mother, but being a good enough mother, because that way, very importantly, they are learning that they don't have to be perfect, that the perfection that you're expecting from yourself, that by the way, of course, doesn't exist, they are not putting the same amount of pressure on themselves when they grow up, thinking that nobody's going to love or accept them when they are less than perfect. So, my journey, and I'm still on this journey, is to allowing myself really to be human in front of my children. In fact, the best gift I can give to my children is being very, very real about who I am, with all those not nice things like my shadows and my, times when I'm not really pleasant to be around, but at the same time, let them experience it, but also communicate it. And I actually, just today, I started teaching them how to say sorry to each other. And they starting understanding concept of, there is a jealousy going on between them in terms of twin dynamics, so they sometimes hit each other on the head. And, I'm showing them that it's okay, you didn't mean it, but now it's time to say sorry. Same way as mommy did it other day when she shouted at you, and I always do. And you can tell they are just 2 years old, like who is going to remember that? They are not going to remember that, or they don't even understand what it means to be sorry. But I do believe that they do feel energetically much more, and they understand much more than we give our children credit to. Please let me know if anything coming up for you from my sharing, if your experience is similar in any way, and what are you implementing in your own life to be a happy mom? Because being good enough mom, the bottom line, I believe, is also clearing for being a happy mom. And what I mean happy mom is not just the one that pretends in front of their kids how happy and content she is, but also when they go to sleep, she's able to enjoy herself and, truly feel fulfilled. Maybe a little bit tired, that's okay. I feel that too every evening, trust me, guys. But with that great warm feeling of, I sit down on the balcony and I speak to my husband, and or just sitting there quietly, and I'm thinking, wow, the day was an adventure, and I'm so glad that we experienced this, and wow, this happened, and my life is so great. I'm happy here, So that is the concept of good enough mother. Let me know, guys, if anything is coming up for you. I will have a little sip of this, and have a look if there was anything else that I wanted to mention, because sometimes I actually don't watch my videos, but sometimes after the broadcasting I'm thinking, no, I should have mentioned this and I forgot. And it's not so good to type it up because it's always better in person. So let me have a look. I put some notes for you, I prepare for these things. Yeah, maybe just to emphasize this, that if children in theory live with perfect mother that attends to their needs, even if it would be possible, which by the way is not once you have, probably not even when you have one child, because this illusion of motherhood, like when they are in your tummy and you have this vision that you will be best friends forever and you will be rosy and perfect and you will be push-sharing on the sunshine, like that's part of it, yes, absolutely, but the truth is the reality of it, that life gets in the way. Yeah, and being a mom is just one aspect of life, dealing with all those things like finances and career changes and your own stuff that is coming up from the past, just because you are a mom and you've got a responsibility for another human being, your family, la la la, things are happening, and so this concept of being perfect mom suddenly goes phew, impossible, and you start making mistakes and you start feeling guilty, and maybe you even get to the point like, wow, of this deep sadness that I wish to be this kind of mom, and look who I became, like this frantic, obsessive, person who's got everything out of control and trying so hard, but really is exhausted and very unhappy. So my main point is that even if it would be possible to be this perfection of the mom attending to baby's needs at all times, the end result of this behavior as a mom would be delicate, like fragile child who can't tolerate even slightest disappointment, like really spoiled child who probably in kindergarten or in interaction with other children or adults would be very, very fragile, and that's not what any of us want, especially in this world, which is, let's face it, challenging in all sorts of ways. And so we want to really we want our children to be, strong, loving, individuals that feel that anything is possible and they feel free in many ways, even like in terms of, any kind of pressures of being perfect or expressing their feelings truly. And of course, benefits of mothers, that goes like hand in hand with baby, and hopefully what I'm sharing is making sense. I'm trying to put it quite clearly, but I'm aware that I'm jumping because it's, but hopefully the picture of the whole, this streaming, is going to be whole and complete. I did find very important to share about this subject, because the amount of pressure that we put on ourselves as a mothers is tremendous, and concept of happy mom sometimes seems like complete illusion. So first of all, I want to absolutely acknowledge every single one of us, including myself, for doing amazing job, and really the best job we possibly can do. And secondly, I would really like to, challenge you to be a good enough mom and to let go of guilt and any kind of illusion that you can be better mom than you are. Your children energetically, if this thing is the truth, I believe it is, chose you for a reason, and is tremendous privilege to become mother. And they didn't choose you accidentally. I believe as a souls, before they are born, they actually really, really choose their parents. Same way as we chose our parents, by the way. And we didn't choose the perfect parents. We chose the perfect parents with good, bad, and ugly for ourselves, for development of our soul. So please, next time I talk to myself as well, make a mistake, so-called mistake, trust that it's absolutely perfect because it fits in mosaic, and actually our mistake in the long run is opportunity, same way as it was for us from our parents. The mistake of us for our children is nothing else than opportunity for them to learn and grow from it and turn it into a gold if they choose to do so. But they will, because you are the clearing for it. And I bet if you're watching this video, you're already on some kind of journey of personal development, or at least, considering, viewing your life in a way that, looking at what is possible, what else you can do, how you can improve your life. Just those things that I was talking at the beginning of this call, and when I was sharing about what I do and what I'm up to. So, to complete all this, being good enough mom is actually well enough. And most importantly, enjoy the motherhood. I know they always say, it goes very fast, and it is going very fast. Being in the present moment is the best gift you can give to yourself as well as your children. Like really, when you play with them, be there for them fully. Be interested, be curious, learn about your children, allow yourself to be fascinated. I'm experiencing this wonderful stage now. I'm absolutely fascinated and in awe how they are reacting, how much they are learning, how fast, how smart they are, how they actually even outsmarting me in some levels. I mean, we are just on the border of, they getting a little bit too smart, getting what they want, and I need to set some boundaries. And it's challenging, and it's fun, and it's tiring at times, especially terrible twos. I had another broadcasting the other day about those. But, it's the wonderful time. So whenever I have the moment when I'm thinking, God, it's too hard, it's too hard. God, please let them be older now so it gets easier. Well, it doesn't. It just will be different stage with different challenges. So let's just remind ourselves to be present and to enjoy and accept and enjoy again what is now, what is here and now, and what we are experiencing and enjoying now as a moms, whatever it is. Embrace it and acknowledge it. If your baby is throwing themselves on the floor, and have a courage to say no for eating a spinach, that takes some guts. So be glad. I always think, wow, that's so great that she's finding her voice. Yes, it would be easier if she always eats whatever I give her without complaints. But then, would I like to have a baby that never finds her own voice? I guess no. So it's worth it. It's worth it to go through all this stage, because it's such an important stage, and we are so privileged to be challenged this way as well, because we are learning and we are growing ourselves. I mean, God knows I am in terms of my patience. Girls, thank you so much, everyone, moms and women, and all of you who've been watching and listening, and for your comments and all those comments that will come, because I know that you write much more of them when you are watching this from the replay, the recorded videos. If you would like to see some more of my videos, I can send you a link to my YouTube channel, or even my website. I haven't done that for a while, so if you would like to see some articles, you can subscribe for newsletters. If this is making sense whatsoever, send me a thumbs up or share this video. I will be very glad, because you never know, we can really, even with this little video, we can really communicate with a mom who is really down and feeling like she probably shouldn't even be a mom, and give her some new perspective, maybe some kind of release from the guilt. I would love that if that happens, even to one of you, because really, I mean, you're amazing, guys, and it takes something to be a mom. So trust that you are the best ones for your own children and that you are doing the greatest job possible. And for those of you who are asking like what we are streaming next time, we will be again, actually we will be streaming next week, although this is happening every 2 weeks, but the week after that or weekend after that, I'm running the Friday to Sunday weekend big international webinar. So I'm going to be streaming again next weekend, and I'm going to be streaming in Slovak language again, and I will be probably responding to one of the most frequently asked questions of the last couple of years from you, personal question. So this is going to be a bit personal, and I will be talking about my return back to Slovakia. Because a lot of you are asking, like, you know, are you there? Are you in London? Are you staying in Slovakia? How come you came back? Why did you come back? How was it? You know, because, I mean, the truth is, I know a lot of you watching us from all over the place are actually wishing to come back. But what is in a way is our fears, our thoughts of that not working out, going backwards. What if I can't earn money? What if the country changed? What if I can't get used to, you know, those kind of worries as well. So I will be talking a lot about that. I will be talking very openly and authentically about how it is the whole process actually leading up to me finally deciding or choosing to come back. How was the transition, and I will be also sharing a little bit about how is it now that I think it's been about 2.5 years that I'm back in Slovakia, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And it doesn't mean that I will never come back to England, but for now I'm very, very happy in this beautiful mountain town, breathing fresh air, and even sun is shining today. So we have a beautiful autumn. So yeah, that's what I will be talking about next week, because you really asked me to talk about it. So I will. And please keep on sending me your questions. If you have anything you would like to talk about or you are dealing with, you know, on personal level, and you prefer to send me a personal message, please do that. Don't be alone, struggling. I will always create a time to be here for you, to support you, whether it's a, you know, what I call discovery call, you know, seeing how I can support you in the best way possible, or whether it's, I don't know, I can connect you with someone, or in whichever way. Please don't be alone. There is someone who cares here, over here, and yeah, don't hesitate, because a lot of you are saying to me, oh, you know, I was thinking for years to send you a message. Please don't wait for years. Send me a message now. I'm really kind. And I think quite down to earth, just normal girl. So lots of love to you guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week again. Kisses to all. And enjoy autumn. It's getting really, really colorful out there.